Stop the pipeline. We don't need no crazy ideas.
So Enbridge is just a symptom of a bigger question. And the bigger question is, what kind of country do you want to have as Canadians? This idea that the spinmeisters in Calgary promote ethical oil sands as opposed to tar sands. Have you ever held a piece of bitumen? That is tar. It is not oil. And when they suggest they're simply helping the global economy as if they're benevolent conveyors of an essential product, they're telling the truth. But of course, behind that is also their own personal desire for gain, corporate profits, for their benefit, not necessarily for the benefit of our country. So I think the most important thing about a panel like this and an audience like you being here tonight is this is just a sign that finally Canadians are waking up. We're leaving, at least in our imaginations, the confines of the urban spaces that most of us dwell in, and recognizing that in the North there are people paying attention, and in their attention from that attention has come about so many initiatives that threaten the legacy of your own grandparents. And at the very least, what we must demand is that these issues become part of a public debate. You know, when we, for example, took the case of the Red Chris mine to court, challenging the federal government for not having done its proper environmental assessment and simply accepting the provincial assessment done by the provincial authorities, our case went all the way to the Canadian Supreme Court, and in court we won. We won in the sense that the ruling was made that in the future, that there should have been a federal assessment, and in the future for such projects there would have to be one, but then in this kind of inimitable Canadian moment of compromise, the justices reclused Red Chris from having to be part of the very federal consideration that the case had rotated upon. So, you know, this is just another way of keeping the word of these projects from getting to the public at large. As Canadians, we have a right to know, and we have a right in a democracy to be part of a public dialogue over the future of our own country. And I hope that this movement will spread like a wave across all quarters of this country, because this is not a British Columbia issue, it's not a Manitoba issue, it's not a Newfoundland issue, it's an issue for all of us.
Stop the pipeline. We don't need no crazy ideas like this in our time. Stop the tar sands. We don't need no dirty oil and blood on our hands.